Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a shocking and game-changing event that has sent shockwaves through Russia's military and political leadership, a daring Ukrainian drone strike that reportedly hit one of Vladimir Putin's own guest houses. This attack isn't just another headline in the ongoing war. It marks a major turning point in Ukraine's growing ability to project power deep into Russian territory. What we're witnessing right now could redefine modern warfare and signal a complete collapse in parts of Russia's defensive strategy. Reports indicate that a swarm of long-range Ukrainian drones targeted a high-security zone near Moscow, the same area where one of Putin's private guest houses is located. This wasn't just a symbolic strike. Intelligence sources suggest that the drones managed to breach multiple layers of Russia's air defense systems, exposing massive vulnerabilities that the Kremlin has spent billions trying to conceal. The fact that Ukraine's drones could reach so close to Putin's personal residences speaks volumes about how far Kyiv's military technology has evolved in recent months. Ukraine's drone program has advanced dramatically since the beginning of the war. What started as a few modified commercial drones has now transformed into a highly sophisticated, domestically produced weapon system capable of traveling hundreds of kilometers undetected. Western technology, combined with local innovation, has turned Ukraine into one of the most formidable drone powers in the world. The strike on Putin's guest house is proof of that. This was not just about hitting a building, it was about sending a message straight to the heart of the Kremlin. No one is untouchable anymore. Eyewitness accounts from the nearby area describe explosions late in the night followed by heavy fire and emergency vehicles rushing to the scene. Russian authorities immediately imposed a media blackout, but satellite images and leaked videos show extensive damage to structures believed to be part of the presidential compound. What's particularly shocking is that this region was supposed to be among the most secure in Russia, protected by state-of-the-art S-400 missile systems and electronic warfare defenses, yet none of them appeared to stop the drones in time. This raises a critical question. How could Russia's air defenses, which it proudly calls the best in the world, fail so catastrophically? Military analysts say the answer lies in overconfidence and outdated systems. While Russia's defense industry has focused heavily on traditional warfare, Ukraine has embraced the future asymmetric and high-tech warfare. Drones, AI targeting systems, and satellite-guided munitions are rewriting the rules of battle. The result is that Russia's expensive defense shield is proving almost useless against smaller, faster, and smarter targets. Sources inside Ukraine's defense ministry claim that the operation was carefully planned for weeks, with intelligence support from Western allies. Using real-time data from reconnaissance satellites and ground-based electronic signals, the drones were guided along routes designed to avoid radar detection. Some of these drones even used stealth coatings and decoy signals to confuse Russian tracking systems. This level of precision is something we've rarely seen in this war, and it demonstrates how Ukraine has moved beyond just defending itself. It's now taking the fight directly to Russian soil with confidence. For Putin, this strike couldn't have come at a worse time. His government is already facing growing dissent, economic strain, and military setbacks on multiple fronts. The image of strength that he's worked so hard to maintain is crumbling fast. Russian citizens are beginning to question how their leader can protect them if he can't even secure his own residences. Social media within Russia, despite censorship, has exploded with discussions, memes, and even subtle criticism of the regime's failure. This psychological blow might be even more devastating than the physical damage itself. The timing of the strike is also significant. It comes just days after Ukraine received a new batch of long-range drones capable of striking targets over 1,000 kilometers away. Analysts believe that Kyiv is testing Russia's defenses systematically, mapping out weak points and preparing for larger-scale operations. Each successful hit gives Ukraine valuable data about how Russian radar systems respond, how quickly they can mobilize, and where the blind spots are. In essence, Ukraine is dismantling Russia's defense network piece by piece. It's not just about the drones themselves, it's about what they represent. The psychological shift in warfare is massive. For decades, Russia relied on intimidation through its nuclear arsenal, missiles, and vast army. But now a smaller, more agile force is turning that fear back on Moscow. Drones have leveled the playing field, and this new reality is something the Kremlin can't easily adapt to. Every night, Russian cities live in fear of the next attack, and no amount of propaganda can fully erase that anxiety. The collapse of Russia's defense posture is becoming more visible with each passing week. Reports from border regions like Belgorod and Kursk describe ongoing drone and missile strikes that have forced mass evacuations. Oil refineries, ammunition depots, and even airbases are being hit repeatedly. Despite Moscow's promises of security, these attacks are spreading panic among civilians and frustration within the military. Morale among Russian troops is said to be at its lowest point since the early months of the war. Many soldiers are reportedly refusing deployments near the front lines, fearing Ukrainian precision strikes. Meanwhile, Ukraine's confidence continues to grow. President Zelensky and his top commanders have made it clear that no Russian target is off-limb, it's as long as Moscow continues its aggression. The strike on Putin's guest house, whether symbolic or strategic, serves as a warning that the war is entering a new phase, one where Ukraine dictates the tempo and Russia reacts in desperation. The balance of psychological power has shifted dramatically. Inside Russia, the political fallout is intensifying. Some sources within the security services are reportedly blaming one another for intelligence failures. Regional governors are quietly increasing their own local defenses, fearing they might be next. State media has struggled to contain the narrative, offering conflicting explanations from accidental explosions to weather-related malfunctions, but few believe these excuses anymore. The credibility of the Russian government is eroding rapidly. This also has deep implications for Putin personally. His aura of control and invincibility has been one of the cornerstones of his power for over 2 decades. The idea that enemies could reach him or even threaten his inner circle would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. Now it's happening in real time, and the psychological effect on both his allies and opponents could be profound. Some insiders are reportedly reconsidering their loyalty, while others fear being blamed as scapegoats for security lapses they had no control over. Internationally, this event has sparked major discussions among NATO and EU leaders. The strike demonstrates not just Ukraine's determination, but also the effectiveness of Western military support and intelligence sharing. It's clear now that technology and innovation can overcome even the most powerful conventional armies. Western nations are studying Ukraine's tactics closely, as these lessons could shape the future of warfare for decades. The blending of drones, AI, cyberwarfare, and precision intelligence is redefining what it means to be a modern military superpower. For the Russian public, this is a moment of awakening. Many citizens, who once believed in the government's claim of total control, are beginning to realize that the war is not a distant conflict, it's coming to their doorstep. The sense of safety that the Kremlin promised has evaporated. People in Moscow, Belgorod, and even St. Petersburg now listen for sirens at night, wondering if the next explosion will be near their homes. This growing fear undermines the regime's narrative of strength and stability. Economically, the effects could be severe. Insurance rates are skyrocketing, businesses are fleeing high-risk regions, and Russia's already fragile economy faces new uncertainty. Sanctions continue to bite, and the cost of maintaining constant air defense readiness across such a vast territory is unsustainable. Every intercepted drone costs thousands of dollars, while Ukraine's home-made models cost a fraction of that. This asymmetric cost advantage ensures that Ukraine can keep applying pressure indefinitely. Military experts predict that Russia will now have to divert more resources from the front lines to protect its interior. This means fewer supplies and reinforcements for troops in Ukraine, further weakening their battlefield position. It's a strategic trap. The more Russia tries to defend its homeland, the less it can attack abroad. And that's exactly what Ukraine wants. By forcing Russia into a defensive posture, Kyiv is reclaiming the strategic initiative. As for Putin's next move, it's uncertain. He may attempt to retaliate with missile strikes or escalate rhetoric against the West. But the truth is, every overreaction exposes more weakness. The world is watching closely, and so are the Russian people. Every failed defense, every unexplained explosion, chips away at the myth of the all-powerful Kremlin. The drone strike on the guest house might not have eliminated Putin physically, but it has struck at the heart of his authority. Ukraine's resilience continues to inspire not only its citizens, but also allies worldwide. Despite immense losses and hardships, the country refuses to back down. Instead, it's adapting, innovating, and outsmarting an enemy once considered unbeatable. This strike is not just a military success. It's a symbol of courage, defiance, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. In the months ahead, we can expect more operations like this. Ukraine has made it clear that its goal is not just to survive, but to ensure that Russia can never again threaten its sovereignty. The strikes will likely grow bolder, more precise, and more psychological. Each one will further erode the illusion of Russian dominance, and with every successful hit, Ukraine sends a message to the world: the era of intimidation is over. What happens next could reshape the entire region. If Russia's defenses continue to collapse under sustained pressure, internal instability could rise sharply. The possibility of power struggles within the Kremlin or even regional uprisings can't be dismissed. The idea that Ukraine's drones might help trigger the unraveling of Putin's rule is no longer far-fetched. It's becoming a tangible possibility. This war has already rewritten the rules of global conflict, and the latest strike proves that innovation and determination can overcome brute force. Ukraine has turned adversity into advantage, fear into focus, and defense into offense. The strike on Putin's guest house may be remembered as the moment the tide finally turned, not just in the battlefield, but in the minds of millions who once doubted that victory was possible. So, as we watch history unfold, one thing is clear: Ukraine has changed the game forever. The world is witnessing not just a military confrontation, but a transformation in the way wars are fought and won. And in that transformation, the balance of power is shifting away from the old empires of fear and toward the new generation of nations that fight not for domination, but for survival and freedom. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the latest developments in global military affairs. The story of Ukraine's resistance is far from over, and the next chapter might be even more explosive than this one. Stay tuned and see you in the next video.